Everyone is welcome here, it's time to make new friends. Aquavit Uskava, fill your Glencairn. Share a dram with the spirit of Edmonton. Slancha!
Slancha, whiskey brothers and sisters and friends, and welcome to episode 48 of the Canadian Whisky Journey's Whiskey Review. I'm Dolph. I'll be your host tonight, and I'm usually joined by Blair Phillips. He is the co-author to this book right here, The Definitive Guide to Canadian Distilleries, and he is spending some quality time with La Famille. So he won't be on with us tonight, but we're thinking of him in the background. So howdy ho, Blair. We'll talk to you later, hopefully. And we're continuing our Canadian whiskey journey with this right here. It's called Whiskey Trois Grains, Feu de Porto by Distillerie Saint Laurent. So this is fantastic. It's part of a 3 whiskey series. So this is the 3 grain, which we're going to do today in port, or finished in port. And there's that one right there. If you look at it, and it's a single malt, and the single malt is in tequila, or finished in a tequila barrel. And this one, another whiskey single malt right there. And it's this one's in PX is what that one's finished in. So this is a 3 whiskey series. Well, not a series. They're all coming out. They've been working on these. And they will be sold directly at the distillery. And again, it's good looking bottle. They always have fantastic bottles. They do a great job with the artwork here. Now, so again, this is the 3 grain. And we've spent quite a bit of time with these 2 gentlemen. So I just want to have their picture. I'm going to put it right up here, right there. So Joel and Jean-Francois, they're the owners of the distillery. And I met them in my initial tour, I guess we could say, with Blair and Davin in the summer of 2020. And over the 2.5 hours that I spent with these guys and Blair and Davin and the other guests that we had, I had a fantastic time. And they really like to have a good time, and they're open to different types of conversations, and they let it go everywhere. And because of that, you end up having a little bit of an affinity with the distillery when you go there, and you, or in our case, digitally go there and meet them. So if you're ever in Rimouski, Quebec, I think you should really have it on your plan. That's a place on your list you got to go and take the tour, spend some time there. They're going to answer your questions. It's a fantastic place to be and a fantastic place to go. And just to pique your interest, that's where it is, up there, right there. And that's what it looks like. And if you, I like that. The spirits there. I want to say this is the place to go in northern Quebec, but I don't know how many other places there are to go in northern Quebec. I almost didn't say that, but I gotta say it. It's got to be the spot. So I'm gonna say that. So let's just start the tasting notes right away. On the nose, it's kind of the usual. Now, you're going to get the caramel, you're going to get the citrus, you get the vanilla. We have that. And you have that with all the drinks when you go deep enough, when they're in the cask that they are to start their lives within. But this, because of the port, I'm getting a plum at the end, a big juicy plum. And I would say stewed plums, but I don't really know if I know the difference between plum and stewed plums. So let's just say plum. And that's coming to the forefront. That's bolder. But behind that, you do get the caramel, that sweetness. You get a little bit of citrus. I don't know if it's lemon or if it's orange. Goes kind of back and forth with me. And always vanilla. And you always get vanilla with these guys. They like their casks, but they mix their casks as well. Often it's just toasted casks mixed with a char 4 or a char 5. So you're going to get the vanilla as well as the charcoal cleansing unit going in there. They do a good job, I think, of both, kind of melding them both together. And yeah, it smells fantastic now. One thing you have to know about Distillerie Saint Laurent is when you first crack it open, you put them in your glass, you get a solventy smell a little bit. I think you need 10-15 minutes for it to kind of meld together and kind of open up a little bit. I'm going to say it's really tight, but it does smell a little bit solventy at first. And that's going to put some people off. If you pour this initially and you get solvent, you don't want to get that, but then it dissipates and you get all those smells I was telling you about. And all right, so let's go for the palate. So nice mouthfeel. And there's always a sweetness, but this one, and I had this before, and I'm going to see if I can get the flavor back again. I'm just going to kind of swish a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So we're back at that. I don't know if there's too many of you older persons out there, but when I was a teenager, there's a little wood stick. There's a little ball at the end of this stick. And it looks like this stick was put into water and then the sugar crystallized on the stick. And they had different ones, kind of a light one, and then there was darker ones. And this one tastes like the darker one. So it's almost like brown sugar that's been crystallized on that stick. And you suck on that for a while as a chubby little kid. So you had... well, it's maybe still chubby a little bit, but it's because of the fantastic things I ate as a child. And this was one of them. The memory is there of this hard rock crystallized sugar right there. But not just that. So it starts sweet, but it's a distinctive sweet, which I really like. Yeah. And the hint of the maraschino cherry that I usually get on some of the bourbons that I like. And this, let's go back to it. They have the toasting and the charring that they do. And this one spent 55 months in bourbon barrels. So you're going to have the bourbon influence, obviously. It's Canadian, it has that. And the mash bill on this is 75% corn, 15 rye, 10% barley. So you're going to get that element that's a lot like the American bourbons. New oak, fresh toasted oak, it's got it all. But for a much cheaper price, I gotta say. So, and again, mash bill as opposed to the Canadian way with the larger distilleries of maturing them in the different and then marrying them together at the end. So instead of having the mash bill, they would have a cask of bourbon and then the rye cask and then the barley cask, and then they would mature each one individually and meld those together. One's not better than the other, but most smaller distilleries now that I'm talking to, it's mash bill, and that's what they did. Finish. Maraschino cherry comes back a little bit too right after, because I just got a little hint of that again. It's finish. Comes quick. Medium, short finish. More rye-like than corn or barley. Yeah, I'm going to say it. More rye-like in the finish. But the sweetness and the spiciness don't meld one into the other with this. They seem to be there at the same time, which is different for me. I usually try to see one kind of morphing into something else. But this is very distinctively both together. The big flavor, and it doesn't morph to anything else. It just subsides. So that's why I get for that. Quick background information. You're hitting 700 milliliters with this, 47%. I told you about the mash bill already. It's available at SAQ, Société des Alcools du Québec. The regular 3 grains, $55. This one you're not going to get at the SAQ, though. You have to get it directly from the distillery. So you got to go on a tour. You got to go to Rimouski anyways. And when I spoke with Catherine from the distillery about, because I wanted to do something new that I could tell you guys about the place, she told me about to be on the lookout for the 3 grain stout finished. Be on the lookout for that, as well as they're still maturing, and people didn't know this apparently, is they're maturing some rum, not rum, but rum. So they've got some barrels that's hitting about 5 years that maybe will be ready to come out fairly soon, or maybe they're planning on doing something with rum with the single malts that we have over here. Maybe that'd be a fantastic idea. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Thank you very much for everything. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you hopefully next Tuesday. Sláinte. Cheers to you all.